The European Union lose control of Europe, Albania and North Macedonia could join the European bloc, and Boris Johnson's approval rating is at its highest. Hello everyone and happy Saturday. Not that it matters anymore, every day is like a Saturday, but we do have some news today from Brussels and the European Union. It's difficult to keep up when it comes to the actual current affairs by watching BBC or Sky News, because they're not really talking about anything else. There's only one topic on their minds. But we are here to give you the update from across the world and what's happening in politics and in our everyday lives, because that's still going on regardless of what's happening with the health situation. Now, the European Union aren't really handling the situation really well. That's why the European countries, all 27 countries, have gone their own way, and they are now looking after their own national interests, which is ironic because when the European bloc decided to start this project, the whole point of it was to at some point get rid of the borders and national flags, to just have one United States of Europe. But that's not really going well. But what's happening now across Europe with this health emergency is actually sending everybody back to being kind of more traditional and looking after their own country and their own citizens. This is according to a Gatestone Institute, the International Policy Council, that published an article about what's happening in the EU. Faced with an existential threat, EU member states, far from joining together to confront the pandemic as a unified bloc, instinctively are returning to pursuing the national interest. After years of criticizing the US President Donald Trump for pushing an America First policy, European leaders are reverting to the very nationalism they publicly claim to despise. Now that's quite interesting, because you now see that each country, because they're worried about the spread from other places, they no longer treat the continent of Europe as one umbrella and one land. They are now looking after their own first. In recent weeks, EU member states have closed their borders, banned exports of critical supplies and withheld humanitarian aid. The European Central Bank, the guarantor of the European single currency, has treated with unparalleled disdain the Eurozone's third largest economy, Italy, in its singular hour of need. The member states worst affected by the pandemic, Italy and Spain, have been left by the other member states to fend for themselves. The European Union, 7 decades in its making, is now unraveling in real time in weeks. That's the most important point. It's no longer just about the countries closing their borders or withholding supplies. They have left Italy and Spain on their own. Now, where is this European compassion that Brussels always talk about? Where is the support? And there's absolutely nothing that's coming from Brussels that's convincing. If it wasn't for their claims in the past that, you know, we are one family, in that case, help each other, or just get rid of your European bloc, get rid of the structure in Brussels, and let countries be independent and sovereign. It's a simple choice, and this is the whole problem. Now, the opinion, the public opinion in Europe is actually changing when it comes to the European Union. In Italy, a nationwide survey published on the 18th of March found that 88% of Italians believe that the European Union is not helping their country. Only 4% thought the opposite, while 8% did not have an opinion. More than two-thirds, that's 67% of Italians, said that they believe that being part of the European Union is a disadvantage for their country. And you know why they're right? Because I can see when this whole situation is over, and when the European Commission and the European Parliament return to have their meetings to sort out the financial problem, you know what they're going to do? They're going to be imposing austerity onto these countries, including Italy and Spain, instead of actually supporting them. Or, as I said, sovereign countries and independent countries should be able to decide how they want to handle their financial crises. So if Italy wants to impose austerity, or if they want to borrow more money, or if they want to basically establish socialism, it should be up to them and their people and their government. But we know that the European Union are going to be imposing austerity. They're going to be imposing protectionism, anti-market, pro-corporatist, crony capitalism. And these sort of measures are not going to be helping, and the European citizens are now getting the sense that this is not the approach. This could lead to a new route to end the European Union if the citizens across Europe stay aware of what's happening these days. Now, in the middle of all these problems, the European Union are going to be starting talks with Albania and North Macedonia to join as new members. And you know why? Because they're so desperate after the UK left them the other month. Now, even though there are concerns over corruption and anti-democracy in these countries, and in the past, France and other countries have expressed their concerns about these sort of situations, but at this point they're like, yeah, fine, Albania, North Macedonia, and all the Balkans could just join. We don't really care anymore. The EU can start membership negotiations with Albania and North Macedonia, according to a draft decision by the bloc's 27 member states, due to be finalized this week. If approved as expected, the agreement would end 2 years of delay and signal a new momentum for all 6 Western Balkan countries seeking to join the EU. The hopes of North Macedonia and Albania were dashed last year as France and the Netherlands sounded skepticism over their track records on democracy and fighting corruption. But again, because they are desperate, because they've lost us as a member, they need the money and they need to create this fake unity. And they know that after this health emergency, they're going to have to get together, find a solution. And actually, the solution is not necessarily to help European countries. The solution is to keep their European Union, the actual the governmental structure that they've created in Brussels. And that's the problem. But things seem, I mean, it's still bad when it comes to the number of cases and people losing their lives. But there is a new report that's come out that's showing things could be a lot better, seem to be a lot better in the UK than expected, because there was supposed to be another 2 months left for us to reach the peak when it comes to the spread and the cases, as in people losing their lives. But things seems to be different now. According to Professor Sikora, the Chief Medical Officer of Rutherford Health, he mentioned that a report published by the Imperial College shows that we are going to be reaching about 7,000 deaths when it comes to the total of the number of people who would lose their lives. And this is actually slightly lower than a seasonal flu, which means that by next week, the UK could reach the peak, even though we were expected to reach the peak about May or towards the end of May. But things seems to be actually going the right direction, and this is why people are really supportive of the government and Boris Johnson. You look at the latest opinion polls, it shows that the Conservatives are now at 54%, with the Labour Party being at 28%, and obviously the other parties are irrelevant, but also 72% of the public are satisfied with Boris Johnson, 73% are satisfied with the government in general, and 77% are satisfied with Rishi Sunak, the new Chancellor, and his performance. So things seem to be going quite well for Boris Johnson. Now, yesterday, obviously, he announced that he is now fully self-isolating to get better in the next week or so, because he tested positive. And the majority of people in the country, even on Twitter, were quite supportive, from left, right, centre, everywhere. But there were some odd people out there who kept attacking, and well, firstly, they were saying, why would the Prime Minister get tested first before other people? Maybe because he's the Prime Minister. There are exceptions and priorities. He's the captain of this ship, and if we lose him, if he doesn't get tested, then who should get the priority? That's the problem. And there are a lot of other people who are celebrating and wishing that he actually loses his life. Yeah, chaos. But there are some people who are basically not really nice or kind, especially when it comes to the political left these days. We have Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton tweeted this thing because there was an article coming to say that the US, the spread is going really badly. There are a lot of people who are going to be losing their lives. And Hillary Clinton tweeted, well, he did promise America first. Really? Is this a time for political point scoring? And also, not just political point scoring, an irrelevant and idiotic tweet. It's still America is still your country, regardless of who the president is. And this sort of behavior is not really nice. But as we always promise, every day we'll give you some piece of good news and positivity today is actually from businesses. Businesses who are responding to the demand in the market, and because the way the market is run and businesses, it's based on demand and profit, and that's the motivation, and it's a free transaction between two parties. So it's not just greed, it's actually they're helping the society in general. So we have Dyson that's designed a new state-of-art ventilator that will be in 10 days, I think it will be ready. At least 15,000 will be built in Wiltshire, and 10,000 going straight to the NHS. 4,000 expected to be sent to other countries in need. Also, when it comes to other companies like Brewdog, we've mentioned this before, but they've also started producing hand sanitizers, and this is based in Aberdeenshire. It's delivering brew gel sanitizers to hospitals. And also, Amazon is prepared to deliver a home antibody test to millions of households if Public Health England's trial this week are successful. The new NHS Nottingham Hospital, based in Canning Town, is also going to be ready from next week, providing 4,000 extra beds for patients. Supermarket shelves are starting to return to normality as the peak of bulk buying frenzy looks to have passed. So yeah, it looks like people are finally calming down. Stop the panic buying. I think there's going to be a lot of people after this who are going to go to their kitchen and their cupboards and look at all the stuff that they bought that are not going to be used for a long time, and then question themselves and their own sanity. Why would you even do that? But this is where we are now. If you enjoy the content, if you haven't subscribed, then make sure you subscribe and click on the bell next to it so you get notified, because we have a daily show at 5:45 p.m. We also have our YouTube membership club where you can join and get extra content and exclusive live streams, live Q&As with me. If you want to check out the link in the description, or find the join button next to subscribe, or just go on your browser and type youtube.com/myotc/join. And well, I think what we're going to be doing tomorrow and Sunday, we'll do a public live stream, and then we'll do another members only live stream. I'm MyOTC. I'll see you guys tomorrow with a new video.